California Governor Gavin Newsom's budget is not only fiscally irresponsible, but will expose how it is actually a threat to public safety as Newsom is cutting key law enforcement programs. Plus, California Democrats want to release criminals based on their skin color and give criminals, wait for it, salary increases. Coming up, all of the details about the shameful, very reckless budget proposal that California Democrats and Gavin Newsom are trying to pass in Sacramento. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative. I've been going through Newsom's budget. And let me tell you, the California liberal media, they're not telling you what you need to know about how bad this budget really is. It's not only fiscally irresponsible, but we're going to talk today about how bad the budget is when it comes to public safety and the insane cuts that Newsom is trying to impose in the budget that will result in criminals being released from prison back onto the streets, where they will, of course, reoffend, and more crime victims will be the result. Plus, California Democrats just passed a bill that would release criminals based upon, wait for it, the color of their skin. I'm not making this crap up. This is their wicked brew of insane, woke, and very dangerous legislative proposals that they're trying to sneak through the system. And of course, the California liberal media, they're not covering these stories, but that's why we do this podcast every day at 5 o'clock. Before I get into the details of public safety and the budget, please join our fight at Reform California to pass a budget that's really balanced without tax increases and reflects our values. And one of the values we have is protecting people, making sure that we keep people safe. Please go to the website, reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org, and do two things on that website. First, go to the bottom of the site and sign up. First name, last name, email, phone, and zip code. That gets you tethered into our growing statewide movement to take back our state from far left insanity. We are recruiting candidates for office, from governor all the way down to school board and judgeships. We also have ballot measures that we're putting on the ballot in 2026. We were a big supporter of Prop 36 in 2024, the Make Crime Illegal Again initiative. And of course, the budget that Newsom has doesn't even fund Prop 36. So he's invalidating the votes of the people. But this cycle, we've got California Voter ID and the California Taxpayer Protection Initiative already committed. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be putting those on the ballot and passing those. We're looking at doing a third initiative relating to public safety or cost of living, but we can't do any of this work without your help. So sign up on that website at the bottom so we can continue to keep you updated on the fight and invite you to join efforts in your local area. But also, please chip in a contribution. We can't do any of this work without the support of grassroots activists like yourself. Contribution of $5 puts gas in the tank to allow us to continue this movement. All right, with that, let's get underway. California Governor Gavin Newsom announced a $12 billion budget shortfall. And instead of reversing reckless, wasteful spending that he and the Democrats have engaged in, he's trying to cut core programs that voters absolutely want to make a priority and fully fund. Public safety is a core responsibility for government, but in Newsom's budget, he is gutting key law enforcement and public safety programs. In the 2024 election, as I just mentioned, voters overwhelmingly passed Prop 36, the Make Crime Illegal Again initiative. It passed by 68% of the vote. It carried every county in the state of California. So this is an overwhelming supermajority consensus of voters saying we want to arrest, prosecute, and punish criminals because we've got something called a crime wave on our hands right now. Smash and grabs, burglaries, assaults. This sort of nonsense isn't happening in other states, but it is happening here in California because of reckless, irresponsible policies by California Democrats. Well, guess what? Newsom opposed Prop 36. And now he's decided just to ignore it and invalidate it, because in order for the ballot initiative, Prop 36, to actually have any impact on arrests and prosecution and punishment, you got to fund it. And Newsom has intentionally provided no money for Prop 36 implementation. You can't make this crap up. Here is CBS 13. No funding allocated for Prop 36 in Newsom's $322 billion state budget. Advocates, of course, pushing back. I'm pushing back. And what's insane about this is he's got all these billions of dollars for people here illegally, Hollywood tax credits for multi-billionaire studios, but not money to make sure that robbers, violent criminals are arrested and prosecuted. It's insane. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we have funding for Prop 36. You know what Newsom's done? He's arrogant. He says, well, if Prop 36 needs to be funded, then the politicians at the local level who supported it should pay for it. Listen here, you little son of a bitch. The people who are paying for things are called taxpayers. They supported it. 68% of Californians supported Prop 36 with their votes. You work for us. You are supposed to implement our will. But of course, you're arrogant. You're an asshat. And yet the media gives him pretty much a pass on it. It just says no funding for Prop 36. This should say Gavin Newsom invalidates will of voters, intentionally underfunds or defunds Prop 36. And he says, oh, the local politicians who supported it should pay for it. We, the people, pay our tax dollars, and we have spoken. This is to be implemented. We pay our taxes. We've already paid for it, you son of a bitch. Put the money back in the budget. I'm pissed about this because this is going to result in real people being hurt, real crime victims. What is Newsom doing? He's letting more criminals out of prison. In his budget, he announces that he's going to shut another state prison. That means less prison beds at a time when we're going to need more prison beds because we're actually going to get back in the business of arresting, prosecuting, and punishing criminals. So this will be the 5th prison. And by the way, he's not even telling us which prison. He's saying, yeah, I'm going to cut a prison and I'll let you know later on during the year. Now, what has happened from his reckless release? 15,000 prisoners were given early release during COVID. And by the way, 90,000 criminals have been released by Gavin Newsom since he took office through his early release for good behavior. Cal Matters has this story about what's happened to most of them. They basically go on to say about a third have gone back to prison. So in between April of 2020, which does not include his entire term. Again, I told you 90,000 people. April 2020 and December of 2021. This is, 18, 19 month period. 14,800 people were released. Oh, but 4,600 had been arrested within 2 to 3 years and sent back to prison. Now, mind you, we don't arrest people in California. So the actual number of crimes, the recidivism rate is much higher than 1/3. Most studies are showing about 60% recidivism rate here in the state of California. Again, because we don't arrest and prosecute most people, because we've downgraded crimes, Prop 36 will fix some of that. If we get the money, we can actually arrest and prosecute again. The recidivism rate that's reflected in this Cal Matters article is actually on the low end of the spectrum. Think about this. We now have at least 4,600 crime victims. At least. Because Gavin Newsom's reckless release policies. These are not just stats. These are crime victims that have been created by Gavin Newsom. And more are going to be created by shutting down a 5th prison and not funding Prop 36. Now, what are Democrats planning to do in this budget? Well, they want to give a pay increase for incarcerated workers. Well, wait. Incarcerated workers? Let's call them what they are. Felons, criminals. Right now in the state of California, like any state, in order to run our prison system, we turn to the prisoners and say, hey, since we're providing you with free medical and 3 meals a day and a place to stay every night, you need to pitch in. You need to do laundry. You need to clean up the mess hall. You need to serve food. You need to do jobs around the prison, but we're not going to pay you for it. We might give you like 25 cents an hour. because we're already providing all these other things for you. And by the way, you're a criminal. You need to learn how to keep a job. This is part of your punishment. You have to do work. Oh, God forbid you do work. Oh, but the Democrats say, no. We should give them minimum wage. They should be able to unionize. I'm not joking. Unionize and bargain for wages. They say it's slavery. These are criminals. It's not slavery. We would be the only state in the union where we would allow prisoners behind bars to form a labor union and demand pay hikes and go on strike. The inmates are on strike. Here's another bill that's coming through, and this is, again, part of early release. Assembly Bill 1071. So as we're early releasing everybody, Assemblymember Ash Kalra, far-left lunatic that he is, just got a bill passed on the Assembly floor this week that would say that we need to release people from prison based on their skin color. What he says is that people who have been convicted of crimes, who are anything but white, that they are victims of racism. They're actually not the victimizers. They're not criminals. They've been victimized by the man, the system. And he wants, under this bill, every conviction to be reevaluated. If you have the right ethnicity, the right skin color, then your conviction can be overturned under this bill. And then you'd be released from prison. I'm not making this crap up. This is as offensive as the day is long. And let me just say this. I believe this to be unconstitutional because it deprives people of equal protection. What we're saying in California is that skin color will determine whether you can get out of prison earlier. And he says that people have been prosecuted because of their skin color. There's no evidence of that. There's absolutely no evidence of that whatsoever. A jury of their peers looked at evidence and found them to be guilty of doing something wrong. There is no excuse for saying that somehow skin color was driving these prosecutions. Again, that's their big lie is always that somehow these people are the victims rather than the crime victims being the victims. We have at Reform California an opportunity. We just showed that there's a consensus behind public safety in our state with the overwhelming passage of Prop 36. This budget that Newsom and the Democrats are trying to cram through, it does not reflect our priorities or our values, and it will put people at risk. So I'm urging you, join us today in the fight to pass a responsible budget with no tax increases that funds public safety in full, that protects our neighborhoods by implementing Prop 36 and by rejecting some of these insane bills, pay increases for criminals or releasing them based on skin color. We're fighting the fight. We need to educate voters. We can only do that with your help. So go on the website, reformcalifornia.org, and sign up at the bottom and chip in a contribution. We cannot do any of this work without your help. Also, 84% of you watching this podcast are not subscribers. So subscribe. It's free. It's how you can help us spread the word. It'll also keep you informed every day at 5 o'clock when we post a new episode. You'll just get a little notification if you're in YouTube. It'll say, hey, there's a new episode from Reform California with Carl DeMaio. Please do that so that we can continue to spread the word. It's not like the liberal media is going to do that for us. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California and a California State Representative. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.